For the first time since 14-year-old Taylor Ibarra's suicide, we are hearing from his family. Taylor's uncle says they had no idea Taylor was thinking about taking his own life until December 30th, when Taylor's younger brother found him lying on his parents' bedroom floor. And they wouldn't believe bullying might have played a role in the Aynor Middle School student's death until they read a note he left behind. Taylor's family hopes sharing his story can save another child's life.
He hadn't given any real indication. Even looking back, we're trying to pick it apart. Of course, after something happens, you kind of relive it and say, what could I have done differently? Is there something I missed? And we beat ourselves up pretty bad and played back through it, and we can't find a single point where it was evident that he was going to do something like that.
Taylor Ibarra's uncle says his family was caught off guard by the 14-year-old's suicide, and even more so by the reason they believe Taylor took his own life.
The first trigger for us was the night it happened. A detective with the police department came out and asked if he had been bullied at school. And we got thinking about it, and we're like, well, we don't recall him saying anything specifically. And then his younger brother, Isaiah, remembered an incident where another kid was kicking his book bag across the cafeteria and no one was stopping us.
Taylor had autism, and his uncle, John Henderson, believes that kept the teen from sharing what was going on or how he felt. And while Henderson wouldn't go into detail, he says Taylor also left behind a piece of paper that suggested bullying played a role in the boy's death.
At first, everybody was kind of analyzing everything, and it was kind of abrasive across the board. Well, what if someone would have done something? What if someone would have noticed something? And before it got to the point of the tragedies we had heard about across the country where families separate and start playing blame games, we all sat down and said, okay, this is what we're feeling. And I think overall, this has actually brought us closer together. It's actually brought all the boys closer together.
It was Taylor's younger brother who found him that day, lying on his parents' bedroom floor. But the whole family has been affected. And Henderson says it was almost impossible to get Taylor's siblings and cousins to go back to class after his death.
We actually had to sit down and talk to them for days to get them to ever walk back into that same school system where this occurred and be able to look at the kids who they feel or who they knew were responsible in some manner and not act out in anger. Probably between me, Mom, and Dad, we talked to them a good 40 hours before they went back and said, listen, this is what you're feeling took your brother. Remember that it can take somebody else. It's not okay to do the same thing to another child.
Henderson says the family has grown frustrated over Aynor Middle School's response to Taylor's death.
You have a representative from the district office and you have a principal and administrator in the same school this occurred at telling us absolutely these things will happen, absolutely we understand your frustration, we understand your pain, our condolences, our sympathies. And then it seems that within a week of leaving that meeting, the only thing that gets done is a tree planted, but they didn't have a dedication ceremony, they didn't announce anything. It's like we planted a tree and a plaque to appease you, not to recognize that there was a student lost or that there was something going on.
Henderson hopes sharing Taylor's story will encourage others to speak up when they see bullying happen.
This was a preventable death. If a teacher had reported it to the front end and the front end had followed through. If another student had the confidence in the administration or their educators to report it to them and honestly believe that something would be addressed, this was a preventable death. There's nothing in the world I can do to bring Taylor back. There's nothing I can do to fix what's happened. It's not a reality. He's never coming back to us. We understand that. What we want is to save every child possible going forward.
Taylor went to Aynor Middle School, and he is not the only child there that has looked to suicide to get away from bullying. Just last month, we shared Emma Gibbs' story with you. Just 7 days after Taylor took his life, Emma attempted to do the same thing, but she's still alive. So we wanted to dig into this even further and look at how bullying is addressed within Horry County schools. And out of the 46 reported bullying incidents in Horry County schools so far this school year, a majority of those happened in a middle school setting. North Myrtle Beach Middle School had the most with 6, but it was followed closely by Aynor Middle School, which had 5. And this is just a small glimpse of the problem because these numbers only span from August 23, 2017 to March 9th of this year. And this isn't information that you can get easily. We had to pay $118.88 to get these numbers from Horry County schools, and we're told that these numbers are very specific. They represent only confirmed cases of bullying in which a consequence was given for the action. But what these numbers don't tell us is how many incidents go unreported or unresolved, what that consequence might have been, who reported the incident, or what evidence was used to confirm an incident. We did get a written statement from the district spokesperson talking about this issue, and it said in part, "We have a legal obligation to protect the privacy of not only Taylor, but all of our students. So we are legally unable to fully discuss any student-specific case or claims. The law hinders us from providing the public with specific student information or depth of certain circumstances surrounding any alleged allegations. We are also unable to discuss specific steps taken on a student, whether it's a disciplinary action or referrals for counseling or referrals for additional outside support. However, we do have full responsibility as a school district to investigate all allegations that are brought to our attention. Unfortunately, without specifics, it is extremely difficult for us to conduct a thorough investigation. Sometimes the situations are very cut and dry, and other times some allegations are just not provable. Not all allegations will have witnesses or evidence, but our job is to exhaust all measures possible to determine what happened." To read more of Horry County Schools' statement, look for this story under the WMBF Investigates tab on WMBFnews.com. WMBF News at 6 will be back with another look at your first look forecast in just 3 minutes.